Guys, welcome back to Money, Marriage, and Media. I'm your host, Mike, and today we are back with we're continuing the interview series with Anton Daniels and Brittany Renner. Today, this video clip is why I'll never have a regular dating life. I'm jealous of my normal girlfriends. Translation, my guess is fame has a price. Yeah, so let's go ahead and get into it. The screen is black. I'm hoping we've skipped over the preview because...
And you wouldn't think that they are
go.
this impacted by what the general public is saying and all of that, right? But they read comments, though. Did your life change as a result of trying to turn that off a little bit or turning that down, that volume down a little bit?
Turning the volume down in terms of like caring.
Not reading the comments as much.
Oh, I used to definitely read the comments back then. I think I really just thought like maybe I could fake this until like I really made it, right? Like I felt like I could pretend, and one day this would actually be true, that I would feel this confident and secure within myself and feel empowered be empowered. So it wasn't even about like turning down the comments. That's actually more something I've done, tuning more of that stuff out in the past like year. Really tuning it out.
Really? Just that?
I used to search my name on Twitter. I stopped searching my name on Twitter, I think, in 2016 because they're ruthless on Twitter. But I think worse than Instagram. But with Instagram comments, I feel like I really don't read them unless I follow you and like I can, scroll the first 10.
You don't follow that many people, though.
No, and I'm not about to scroll and see what y'all got to say today. I don't want to hear it. I don't know how it's productive to read a bunch of opinions where people don't know me.
I'm a little confused here because, again, if you're not interested in what people have to say, why are you posting it? Who are you doing? Who are you posting it for? Because if it's for yourself, I mean, you keep it in your phone. Why send it out to the public? I don't know. I'm a little confused by that one. If you guys understand it, please sound off in the comments. I'm lost on that one.
How's it productive? And words have an effect. Like you've been on social media for a long time too. So it doesn't matter how bionic you think you are, it still hurts. Yeah, you can have your personal truth, this is how I feel, but
Why don't people think that you're a real person? Like, honestly, from the outside looking in, right? Before I met you and all of that, I think the narrative is and the perspective is that you are just like this soulless woman that is taking advantage of men with resources and so on and so forth.
Yeah. This is the negative drawback to fame. Famous people in Hollywood go through this a lot because people view them as not being human just because they spend so much time on this side of the camera that you as a viewer get to know them. You get to know so much about them, but the relationship is one way. So a lot of times you become dehumanized. Now it makes dating a whole lot harder because, the minute you meet somebody, like they know so much about you, but you don't know about them. So it makes it tougher. I mean, but you kind of sign up for that though. This is where I think a lot of YouTubers are missing the mark on it. Because again, you're gonna have to make for women YouTubers at some point. If you want to get married, at some point, you can only go so far before. Because, again, the bigger your channel gets, the more you're out there. The more you're out there, the less guys want to take you serious. It's always going to be a drawback. So, again, relationships are about balance, but you got to figure out how you can balance that because most guys view that as a negative. Most guys are territorial. They don't want to share you with the rest of the world. But if that's how you're paying your bills, you see how that can be problematic? It's almost as bad as being... well, I shouldn't say that, but it's in a guy's mind, it's very similar to you selling your sexuality because that guy has to share you with the rest of the world. I mean, don't get me wrong. He will 100% take you being a YouTuber over being, being associated with either selling your sexuality or being a part of the nightlife, right? But at a certain point, I mean, you got 500,000 subscribers and all these people are watching you on YouTube. Okay, well, that guy has to come and fit in. He's got to share you with those subscribers. Most guys are not going to be okay with that. So it's a balance that you're going to have to work out.
Like, they don't look at you as a human being. They don't look at you as a person with feelings. They don't look at you as any of that. Why do you think that is? Like, why do you think that we've been conditioned to, or I guess just on a personal level, why do you think that people look at you that way?
I feel like I've been trying to figure that out my whole existence, like presence being on social media. Because even in the book I talked about the first story that TMZ broke of me, I was a villain. I had claimed I was pregnant by someone, and that wasn't my choice. That wasn't true. So it's like, for the life of me, even that headline still like just befuddles me to this day. Because why am I a villain? Like, there are certain women who can do worse things and they are absolutely praised. We're not even going to talk about men and women. We know there's a fucking difference. But I don't know.
Do you feel misunderstood? Like, honestly.
Yeah, of course.
And I'm not saying that you feel like you're a victim, because
No, I am misunderstood. But I also don't show the person that you were talking to in the car. Now, the video I did recently about forgiveness, that is probably the most accurate video of who I really am.
So in other words, she's created her own problem. You know, you have a problem with people, you know, not knowing the real you. That's what she's about to say, right? But again, if you put up this persona where you're trying to fake it until you make it, well, the persona that you put up before it's not really you, but that's how everybody's got to know you now. Tough. You put yourself in this spot. It's not the real you. Okay, well, I mean, so it's almost like she was clout chasing to build a brand for herself that wasn't really her, and now, so, you know, masculine women have the same issue, is that eventually they get tired of being masculine because it's not who you are. It's not natural. So it takes a lot to keep that persona up, and eventually you get tired. I would reckon that she has reached a point where she's tired of the other persona because it's not real, and it takes a lot to maintain something that's not real. You get tired of it. I mean, and now she's finding herself wanting to be who she really is, and no one believes her because you spent so much time as this other person. You know, it's a tough spot to be in.
On the inside. But I'm only going to show that if I feel safe. And the internet to me is not a safe place. That's a place we're going to have fun and we can hee and ha and troll. But I'm trying to be more of my authentic self on social media. But it is very hard because I'm selective in real life. So sharing those messages, I'm literally only doing it because I feel divinely called to do it. No other reason.
a lot of people feel like because you have a lot of followers that you may feel more safe, right? Or you may feel more confident or things like that. But that's not the impression that I get of you.
Well, even if it was the impression, we already know that's not going to be the case because she just told us that that's a persona. It's not real. So all those people, they're following you for the wrong reason. I mean, she has really stuck her foot in it. Boy, that's...
Honestly,
Okay.
as a person that's had conversations with you about how you really feel about different things off camera, right? I don't get that impression, right? The impression that I get of you is that you are very guarded.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have to really section yourself off, even though the perception is that you are very, very much outgoing and all of this. And you are outgoing. You have a dynamic personality and all of this stuff.
And that's a perfect assessment because, again, we go back to that, I think it was like the first or second video where she talked about she was in that relationship with the guy where she gave him everything and he never married her. Dude, we see too much of that in our community, right? Because the vetting processes are broken down. Man, it would have been, imagine if she gave that attitude to the right guy, the guy who would be willing to marry her before all this other stuff happened, right? She would have been married to that guy and had kids, probably still be with him today. But because there was nobody to vet the men for her, We are what we are. Why is that important? Because there's a part of our communities, particularly here on YouTube, where they just sort of say, well, just leave them alone. It's women's fault and we should just stop dealing with them altogether. Okay, so what does that mean for our daughters? Let's say you got a 1-year-old. Who is she supposed to be with? Who's she going to mate with? Who's she going to marry? How's she going to learn to do this stuff, right? If we're just walking away. You get more, there's going to be a lot more Brittany Renners out there. A lot of you guys complain about her and talking about, no, just, women, blah, 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 blah. Okay, what are you willing to do to fix it? That's my question to the community. If you guys, all you guys are talking about, there ain't no good women out here. Most of the time, majority of the time, it's no good women because the men gave up. And you telling me the solution is to keep giving up? That's how we got here. Nah. We need more vetting processes in place, which means the men have to be there.
But then at the same time, having a level of visibility does not necessarily translate into feeling like you're a rock star.
Right.
What do you think about that? Like, what is your perspective about people's opinion about being famous versus what it's really like to have that level of visibility?
I would say that
People don't think about that.
there's a lot of privileges. You get to metaphorically and quite literally skip a lot of lines. There's a lot of opportunity. There's a lot of money. There's a lot of benefits with visibility, but there's so much too that comes with it, from the dehumanization to, you can say fuck your dating life. You can't just join Tinder. I get jealous of my friends who can just do Tinder because I'm like, I wish it was that simple. I could just swipe through and pick. I gotta hope I run into Prince Charming at Whole Foods, or hope he has enough courage to slide in my DM. So it's like, I feel like if I ever wanted to, what if I wanted to delete my social media and I work at Target? I'd be trending on Twitter.
Yeah.
Look at this loser. She works at Target. I guess all that money and all that shit didn't work. So it's like, there's a lot of negative shit that comes with it. Like, you can't just be willy-nilly out at certain places. You always have to be on guard with friends, lovers, business. Your whole life changes. Like, people are coming up to you at Starbucks, in the airport. We were out at Cheesecake Factory. Someone tapped me on the shoulder. I mean, she could have, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you're so exposed.
You know what she sounds like? These are all the problems of dating when you're a rich and single man. You get so paranoid with women because every woman you view as somebody who's potentially trying to take what you got. We never talk about that though, right? Because getting rich solves all your problems. It doesn't. It creates more problems. You just have different problems. That's all. But again, the downside is famous. So I kind of understand where she's coming from. But again, hindsight is 2020. Imagine if she'd have been that first relationship that she was talking about, if she'd have gotten married at that point, a lot of these problems that she's having now would be no issue. This is why we need to work on getting married sooner, with the vetting processes in place, so that we're talking about stable marriages, stable relationships. Because then you don't have to worry about this stuff. You're already married. Both of y'all can be famous. It's not, y'all gonna be in it till death do you part anyway. So that it's a lot less stressful. I'm telling you.
And there's good things and bad things that come with that. So it's like,
Does the good or the bad, which one, if you had to pick the good or the bad, as far as like it outweighs one or the other, which one would you say? Based off of what you know now.
the good. I mean, the good outweighs all the bad, in my opinion.
Is that just you being positive, or is that you just being real?
No, I mean, yeah.
Because you have a sentiment, or you have this mindset to where you look at the glass half full mentality. So you always gonna look at it from that perspective. When you looking at it in real life, is it really worth it? Because I'll give you an example, right? One of the things that you said, because you met Rita and all of that other type of stuff, and you was like, man, like, I'm not giving up on love now. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yes.
That's
that
understandable.
sense of normalcy, okay.
That's understandable, because if you watch Anton's channel, he interacts with the way he interacts with his life, the way he interacts with his wife. It would have that effect on you.
Let me bring
No,
it
that's
back.
what it is.
Let me bring it back for you,
Okay.
all right? So watch this. In your book, I noticed the trend. A lot of the people that you wind up talking to later on outside of the college experience was people that reached out to you on social media, right? They reached out to you and then eventually translated into something, or you had to open up to the possibility of what if, and then you wind up flying out or whatever, so on and so forth, right? You don't get to meet a person in regular life in a lot of instances because you don't even know if they know who you are before they walk up to you, right?
And that's
You don't know what
scary.
their intention is and none of that, right? So taking that in consideration, is it worth it, right?
I just had that conversation with my friend Sharika. We were talking about dating, and she's always trying to find solutions for me, and I'm like, it's not that simple. Like I feel like
Well, first I'm gonna tell you that dating is dumb. If you're trying to get married, dating is dumb. You need to get to know the person. You talk on the phone, then go from there. Stop trying to go on dates with people you don't know, because it very rarely works out. Get to know them over the phone. That way you can figure out what kind of person they are, and if there's low investment, particularly her. If she's in Brittany's case, she talking about flying out to go somewhere. Nah, get to know them over the phone first, because you can find out if you're compatible at that point.
even if I were to go out to a bar, which I have, like I went out to a bar in Austin, hung out, had a great time, but I had such a positive experience because everybody knew who I was. So I'm already getting some experience that I would not typically get. It's a heightened feeling of acceptance when really it's just because you guys know me on social media and that's why you're passing the bottle around, or you guys are, just so excited, or the energy is at a certain level. Like, there's a part of me that I will say it's a big trade-off, because I see even your guys' relationship, and I can't help but think, like, a part of me thinks I will never have that.
That's an interesting concept. The title of this is Why I'll Never Have a Regular Dating Life. I'm jealous of my normal girlfriends. It speaks to missed opportunities because of the fame. But if you listen to her, he straight up asked her, he basically asked her, which would you prefer? And she said the fame. As long as you're making that decision, I don't know if she's trying to get married or not, but it doesn't sound like it. So, But look, guys, this is a high level conversation because we're breaking this stuff down. Because again, I see there are a lot of women like Brittany in our community. Maybe not to the same level on social media, but yeah, these situations have to be addressed. We got to be able to move forward. So we're gonna cut it here. Again, check out the rest of that playlist, and you see them. The videos will be. Let's see, they'll be here and here, and or somewhere on here for you to subscribe and all that good stuff, right? But I'm gonna say goes to the next time. Peace.